Seriously, how can you even be here when you only speak Japanese? A woman laughed and gave me a cunning smile. Mary, the daughter of the firm's CEO, dropped her head uncomfortably, feeling the weight of her stare. Even to a low-level employee like me, she is always kind. I took action to change the situation and decided to discipline Morgan, the unkind client. I stole the show by revealing a side of myself that no one had ever seen. Morgan's face went white as a result. I'm Kyle, and I'm 30 years old. I started working as a mid-career employee at Easy Exams, a company that specializes in educational resources for children, 2 years ago. Everyone was silently concentrating on their computers at work. With only 100 workers, the company isn't very large. I worked hard on my assignments while sitting quietly at my desk. Kyle, would you be able to assist with transcription? It's the minutes of the meeting from yesterday. Yes, no issue. Today, I'll have it prepared. I started writing a summary of the requested minutes after completing my own assignments. Our ethos at Easy Exams is to concentrate on our own job without becoming involved with other people's work. Before I knew it, it was time for lunch. Some others in the cafeteria talked while they ate, but I sat by myself and ate in silence. How is the new endeavor progressing? It appears to be too much to manage. Yes, but Kyle has been assisting and is quite trustworthy. He works quickly. Yes, but don't you find Kyle to be a little mysterious? He never discusses himself. I remained silent and concentrated on my food when I heard this. The day went very quickly, and as people left the office to go home, it became quieter. An increasing number of my coworkers packed up and departed. I turned off my computer after I was done for the day. My manager, Harvey, yelled out to me as I got to my feet. Are you heading out, Kyle? Fantastic work today. Tomorrow, let's try our hardest once more. Thank you, indeed. I said, have a good evening. He smiled as he nodded. I walked out of the office with a small bow. I hurriedly made dinner, showered, cleaned my teeth, and fell asleep after getting home. I watched videos on my phone for a while till I became tired and went to sleep. I always did that. I saw a missed call from my older sister, Natalie, one day after work. I was curious, so I called her back right away, and she answered. Hi, Natalie. What's going on? Oh, Kyle, sorry to bother you while you're working. It's okay. What's happening? She started to say something, but paused, sounding a little sorry. I actually need your help with something. Would you be able to watch Bella for the weekend only? Bella? What took place? That is not typical. My sister and her husband own a joyful 2-year-old golden retriever named Bella. They genuinely adore her and consider her the darling of their home. The pet motels are completely booked, and we both have work trips to attend. Normally, one of us is at home all the time, but right now, we're stuck. I understand. This weekend, isn't it? Yes. We'll pick her up by 9:00 p.m. on Sunday, I swear. I considered it. This weekend, I had nothing planned. I felt it would be enjoyable to play with Bella, and wanted to answer to my family's SOS, whether out of convenience or loneliness. You got it, Natalie. I'll look after Bella. It will be resolved in some way, so don't worry. Really? Regards, Kyle. Good luck. Bella has become much more playful. On Saturday morning, I'll bring her over. I got it. So, Saturday, anticipating Bella's visit. Thank you so much. You're a lifesaver. My sister hung up after saying that. I cleaned up when I got home in order to get ready for Bella. Although the area wasn't disorganized, I made sure nothing potentially harmful was left out for her to inadvertently consume. I did a thorough vacuuming on Friday night and told the landlord, Catherine, what was going on. I wanted to make sure there were no misconceptions, even though the unit is pet-friendly. I'm sorry, Catherine. I have a question. Catherine, who lives close, smiled warmly when I told her about the incident. Oh, I see. It's okay. How thrilling. Being an animal lover, Catherine seemed thrilled and asked about what kind of dog Bella was. I told her Bella was a 2-year-old golden retriever. and Catherine happily mentioned that she had once owned a golden retriever herself. With her approval secured, I felt relieved and ready to welcome Bella. I spent Friday night looking forward to seeing Bella again after such a long time. On Saturday morning, around 7:00 a.m., the doorbell rang. When I answered, there stood my sister and Bella, sitting politely with her tongue out. "Good morning, Kyle." "Morning, Natalie." "Bella, long time no see. How have you been?" Bella barked happily and wagged her tail energetically. I crouched down and gave her a thorough petting. "I'll definitely pick her up by 9:00 p.m. tomorrow. Thanks again." My sister left Bella's favorite toys, treats, and food before giving Bella a big hug. "Bella, be a good girl and listen to Kyle, okay?" With that, my sister waved goodbye and hurried off, pulling her suitcase behind her. My sister, a professional woman, always seems so busy. "All right, Bella. Let's have lots of fun over the next 2 days." Bella barked enthusiastically, wagging her tail, and I couldn't help but smile. And so began our 2 days together. Bella's a smart dog who knows how to communicate what she wants. After playing with her toys for a while, she brought me her leash. "Do you want to go for a walk?" In response to my question, Bella barked excitedly and started circling around me. Amused by her playful pleading, I smiled and attached her leash. There's a large park nearby that even has a dog park. I decided we'd head there and started walking. "Isn't this great, Bella? The weather's perfect." Bella barked excitedly, clearly enjoying herself. She wagged her tail vigorously, glancing curiously in all directions. It seemed like she was delighting in the unfamiliar scenery, so I matched her curiosity and took a few detours as we walked. "All right, we're here, Bella." After a short break to give Bella some water, we arrived at the park with the dog park. I went to the reception to check in. "Hello, do you have proof of vaccination and a license?" "Yes, I've got them here. Thank you." I pulled out the vaccination certificate and license from the bag my sister had given me. "I'll check. Everything looks good," the receptionist said as she returned the documents to me. She explained the rules and precautions for using the dog park. I carefully noted everything and entered the park with Bella. Inside, the park was just the right level of crowded. I firmly held Bella's leash as we stepped in. "All right, Bella. Don't bother other dogs if they seem uncomfortable and don't be too persistent, okay?" Bella seemed to nod in understanding as if to say, "Got it." I continued explaining various things to Bella. She circled around me impatiently, as if to say, "I get it already, now hurry up and take off the leash." All right. I'm letting you go now. Go on, Bella." As soon as I removed the leash, Bella bolted across the park at full speed. "Wow, that's fast." She dashed to an open area away from the other dogs, turning sharply and running in circles, clearly having the time of her life. I took out my phone to record her antics and sent the video to Natalie. Bella sprinted around wildly for a while before returning to me, panting happily. Bella stuck her head into the bag holding her toys and pulled out her favorite ball, pressing it against my stomach. "Oh, you want me to throw it?" Bella looked at me as if to say, "Exactly," then backed away a little. I checked the other dogs to make sure none were heading our way. Responding to Bella's urging, I threw the ball as far as I could. "Go get it, Bella." Bella joyfully ran after it, grabbed the ball, and brought it back. We repeated this over and over, having a blast at the dog park. "Phew, Bella, did you have fun?" When I asked her, she licked my face enthusiastically, clearly satisfied. "Hey, that tickles. All right, let's head back." We played to our heart's content and decided to head home. But that's when the unexpected happened. "All right, Bella, we're almost home. Today was fun. Huh." As I enjoyed the peaceful moment, Bella suddenly flopped down on the ground and refused to move. "Bella, what's wrong? We're not home yet." I knelt down to check on her, petting her gently, but she stubbornly stayed put. I tried tugging on her leash and coaxing her, but she wouldn't budge. I recalled videos on social media of dogs refusing to walk, with their owners either carrying them or dragging them like a mop. At the time, I laughed at those videos, thinking how tough it must be. Never thought I'd end up in that position myself. No choice do I have to carry Bella. Just as I nervously began to slide my arms under Bella, wondering how much she might weigh, a beautiful woman passing by stopped and spoke to me. "Oh my, that looks tough. Is this her first walk?" I turned around to look at the woman. She was dressed elegantly and wore a gentle smile. "Ah, no, actually she's my sister's dog. She's usually energetic, but now she's suddenly refusing to walk." I called out to Bella while tugging on her leash, but she ignored me completely, lying stubbornly on the ground. At my wit's end, I didn't know what to do. "Is that so? Would you mind if I helped a little?" Sure," I replied, nodding hesitantly. She crouched in front of Bella, gently stroking her while speaking softly. "Bella, it's okay to take a break here. No need to push yourself. Do you want to go back slowly?" The woman's calm voice and soothing touch seemed to have a magical effect. Bella closed her eyes, clearly enjoying the attention. To my amazement, Bella soon got up and started rubbing against the woman affectionately. I couldn't help but think, wait, what about all the effort I put in? But I was just relieved that Bella finally got up. After Bella had refused to budge for so long, I couldn't help but wonder why. So I asked the woman. "That was amazing. How did you manage to handle it so well?" Dogs are very perceptive of human emotions. She probably sensed your frustration and thought it'd be fun to tease you a little. The woman laughed softly as she petted Bella. I could almost swear Bella had a smug look on her face, as if saying, "See, I've got you figured out. Honestly, you really saved me. Thank you so much." "You're very welcome. See you again, Bella." The woman gave me a polite bow and waved at Bella before walking away. I returned the bow, thanked her again, and then headed home. On the way back, Bella, having met the woman, walked along in high spirits as if nothing had happened. "Bella, next time, please just walk home properly, okay?" Of course, Bella pretended not to hear me. The weekend with Bella flew by, and my sister and her husband thanked me profusely for taking care of her. Though I was tired, spending time with Bella was truly refreshing, and I felt fulfilled. "Good morning," I said the next day as I arrived at work as usual. However, the office on Monday had an unusual tension in the air. When I asked a few colleagues who had arrived earlier, I learned that there was an emergency all-hands meeting scheduled for that day. What's going on? An all-staff meeting out of the blue. Could it be about poor sales or something? No idea, but it must be important. Let's hope it's good news. As everyone gathered and waited in the large conference room, our CEO, Mr. Kennedy, entered. A few executives followed closely behind him. "Thank you all for coming on such short notice. I've called this meeting to make an important announcement." The room fell silent as everyone focused on his words. "Due to recent health concerns, I've decided to step down as CEO. Today, I'd like to introduce my successor, my daughter, Mary. She still has a lot to learn, but I hope you'll support and guide her." There was a stir in the room. Mr. Kennedy's retirement was surprising enough, but the announcement that his daughter would be the next CEO was completely unexpected. As Mr. Kennedy turned around, the door opened, and a woman entered the room. The moment I saw her, I was so shocked that I couldn't help but let out a gasp. "Wait." The woman stood before the employees with a tense expression and bowed deeply. She was the same woman I had met at the park just the day before. "Hello, everyone. My name is Mary. I'm sure the sudden news has surprised you, but I look forward to working with all of you to make this company even better. Thank you for your support." I stared at Mary, unable to believe my eyes. I never imagined that the woman I met at the park would be introduced as the next CEO of our company. Please take care of both the company and Mary moving forward. With those words, Mr. Kennedy, Mary, and the executives bowed, and the urgent meeting came to an end. As the employees began to disperse, Mary noticed me, smiled warmly, and walked over. "Excuse me, aren't you the one taking care of Bella?" Yes, that's me. Honestly, I'm so surprised to run into you again today and to have you introduced as the next CEO. I didn't see that coming. Mary laughed warmly at my reaction. I was surprised too. As I was introducing myself, I thought, wait, isn't that? It seems we both had quite the surprise. Looking at Mary's smile, I felt a strong desire to help her succeed as the next CEO. It's going to be challenging, but I'll do my best to support you. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Kyle. Nice to meet you. Thank you, Kyle. I look forward to working with you. Mary extended her hand for a handshake, and I firmly shook it. Her hand was small and warm. After starting her role as the CEO in training, Mary actively engaged with each employee, making an effort to speak with everyone and taking the lead in her work. While many employees appreciated her proactive approach, some were not pleased with the fact that she was Mr. Kennedy's daughter. Isn't Mary being treated specially just because she's Mr. Kennedy's daughter? Work has so many small details. Does she even understand that? With those words, a spiteful colleague dumped a pile of documents on Mary and assigned her increasingly complex tasks. Mary, though clearly overwhelmed, tried her best to handle the workload alone, but it was simply too much for one person. When I saw her surrounded by a mountain of papers, I sighed deeply. What an awful thing to do. Mary, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. It's just, there's so much work piling up. There's no way you can handle this much alone. I'll help you. Let's tackle it together. Really, thank you so much, Kyle. That's a relief. Mary's expression softened slightly, showing her gratitude. Of course. Let's get started. By working together to clear the paperwork and streamline the tasks, Mary gradually regained her composure. This event seemed to naturally increase the conversations between us. We started having lunch together more often and sharing our thoughts and goals during breaks. It was around that time when I was unexpectedly summoned to Mr. Kennedy's office. As I entered, Mr. Kennedy greeted me with a warm smile. Kyle, I have a favor to ask of you. Could you become Mary's secretary and support her? Me? As Mary's secretary? I'm not really the type who likes to stand out. I felt confused and decided to share my honest feelings. Mr. Kennedy acknowledged my hesitation but continued to persuade me. I've seen you and Mary together. While I understand she's not always viewed favorably by others, and it pains me to see her go through that, this is something she needs to overcome on her own. But when she's with you, she shows a relaxed smile, just like when she's at home. I was surprised by Mr. Kennedy's words. The thought that being with me helped her relax was unexpected. Knowing I might be supporting her warms my heart. If that's true, it makes me genuinely happy. If you support her, I'm confident she'll grow into her role. Please, Kyle. Mr. Kennedy looked at me with a serious expression. After a moment of thought, I made my decision. For Mary's sake, all right. If it's for Mary, I'll take on the role of her secretary. At my response, Mr. Kennedy's face lit up with genuine joy. He grabbed my hands with both of his and shook them vigorously. Thank you. Truly, thank you. Mary will be so happy. When Mary heard about my appointment as her secretary, she was ecstatic. Really? Are you serious? With you by my side, it feels like I have an army of support. Her radiant smile was so infectious that I couldn't help but smile too. I'm glad you feel that way. I'll do my best to support you, so let's work hard together. Taking on my new role as Mary's secretary, I worked alongside her to manage the day-to-day tasks. One day, it was decided that we would attend a party where several clients would also be present. The event included multinational companies, not just from English-speaking regions, but also from French and Chinese-speaking areas. I assumed everything would go smoothly, especially since interpreters were arranged for the event. Or so I thought. Wait. What? Are you serious? When we arrived at the venue, Mary's phone rang. As she spoke, her face turned pale. Looking at me in distress, I silently gestured to ask her what was wrong. The interpreters can't make it. You're kidding. Mary already seemed nervous about attending her first party as the company's representative. Now, Hearing about the interpreter's absence, she looked ready to collapse. After ending the call, her face was completely pale. "Are you okay, Mary?" She barely reacted to my question. This is really bad, I thought. I gently guided her to an empty chair and went to fetch her a drink. When I returned, I saw Mary standing, accompanied by another woman. It was M. Morgan, the CEO of Morgan Trading, one of our clients. "Miss Morgan, it's a pleasure to see you again," I greeted her. Miss Morgan responded with a cold smirk. "Oh, hello. You're the one who recently became a secretary, aren't you? Let me see, Kyle. It's been a while." I had met Miss Morgan during Mary's client visits before, and she always carried an air of superiority. She was the complete opposite of Mary in demeanor. While I found her somewhat difficult to deal with, I kept that to myself. Even now, I responded with a polite smile. "Yes, Kyle." "Well," Miss Morgan said, "I've heard Mary only speaks Japanese. That's not very useful in a global business setting, is it? Honestly, I wonder how someone like that even dares to show up here. Wouldn't it be better to leave?" Mary's expression briefly showed a trace of sadness at those words. However, she said nothing and lowered her head. Seeing her like that made anger well up inside me. "Hold on a moment, Miss Morgan." "Yes, Kyle? What is it?" she asked, clearly irritated. "Mary is an incredible person and an invaluable asset to our company. The fact that she only speaks Japanese doesn't diminish her worth in the slightest," I said with conviction. My words seemed to irritate Miss Morgan even more. Poof. Anyone can talk big, but in a global business setting, multilingual skills are essential. With that, Miss Morgan walked over to a group of multilingual representatives. Moments later, she returned, bringing all of them with her. I couldn't shake a bad feeling about what was coming next. "Mary, this is Jaku from France, Claus from Germany, and Maria from Spain. Why don't you greet them?" Mary hesitated, but managed to muster a smile and bowed. "Hello. Nice to meet you." The representatives looked visibly puzzled, while Miss Morgan gave a faint smirk. "Oh, Mary, it seems Japanese alone might be a bit challenging here, don't you think?" she said mockingly. Reaching my limit with her condescending attitude toward Mary, I decided it was time to reveal my hidden abilities. "Good evening, Jaku. It's a pleasure to meet you tonight," I said in fluent French. Mary exclaimed, "What?" in surprise, her eyes wide with astonishment. I gently placed my hand on Mary's back, encouraging her to step forward. "Go ahead, Mary. Don't worry, I'll translate everything for you." When I winked at her, Mary finally relaxed and gave me a relieved smile. "But French alone won't be enough, right?" Miss Morgan sneered. I turned to her with a calm smile. "Don't worry, Miss Morgan. I speak 7 languages." I continued by speaking in German and Spanish with the 2 representatives Miss Morgan had introduced. Starting with Mary's self-introduction, I sprinkled in some light jokes to make the conversation more engaging. As the atmosphere grew livelier, more people gathered around us, and I switched to Chinese, Korean, English, and Italian to introduce Mary to them as well. Together, Mary and I engaged in enjoyable conversations with the representatives. It had been a while since I used all 7 languages, and my brain was working at full capacity. Though I had been nervous at first, my past efforts didn't let me down. The conversations flowed smoothly, and we had a highly productive and enjoyable time. At some point, I realized Miss Morgan had left the area, glaring at us from afar with a bitter expression. I couldn't help but think, serves you right, though I knew it wasn't the most mature thought. "Ah, I'm so glad everything went well. It's all thanks to you, Kyle," Mary said as we left the party venue. Mary got into a taxi, and the moment it started moving, exhaustion seemed to hit her like a wave. "That's not true, Mary. It's all thanks to your hard work. I only managed because you translated for me, but still, there were several leads for potential deals tonight. What a success," Mary said, practically bouncing with excitement. Indeed, the party had expanded our network and seemed to open up promising new business opportunities. "Hey, How about we grab something to eat? My treat. I barely ate anything, and now I'm starving, Mary suggested. As she said that, I realized I was hungry too. Speaking 7 languages after so long had taken its toll, and I could use some food. Gratefully, I accepted Mary's offer. The taxi took us to a French restaurant where we decided to enjoy a proper meal. Cheers. Cheers. We clinked our glasses, each sipping a single glass of wine. As we ate, reflecting on the ups and downs of the party made for an enjoyable conversation. When dessert arrived, Mary suddenly grew serious. Kyle, can I ask you something? How is it that you can speak 7 languages, yet before I joined, you were doing mostly manual tasks? Her directness made me chuckle a little. She had always been the type to ask whatever was on her mind without hesitation. I decided to be honest and opened up about my past. I graduated from Harvard University, and I can speak 7 languages, I revealed. Mary's eyes widened in astonishment. What? That's incredible. Harvard? But why didn't you ever mention it before? I sighed deeply, gazing into the distance as I began to explain. I've always been good at studying, always been the smart one. My life seemed smooth sailing for a while, but because of that, I faced a lot of envy and resentment from others. That's terrible, Mary said. When you excel too much, there's always someone who won't like it. I never boasted about my abilities. At least I don't think I did, but it didn't matter to some people. Looking out the window, I recalled the challenges of my past. Back then, I was working at one of the most well-known companies in Japan, thriving in a competitive environment. Wow, Kyle's on it again. That guy can do everything. He nails every project and gets nothing but praise from the boss. But honestly, he's kind of annoying. Maybe he should think about how it feels for the rest of us. I remembered colleagues whispering. I wasn't oblivious to those whispers, but I didn't let them bother me. During school, I had similar experiences, but usually managed to turn things around and make friends. But that was back in school. I later realized that was a naive assumption. One afternoon, on my way to a meeting, my colleague Hayden stopped me in the hallway. Hey Kyle, got a second? Sure. What's up? Look, I need a favor. I've got this new project, and I'm swamped. Could you help put together the materials? I'd owe you one. Seeing how stressed he looked, I agreed to help. My own work was mostly finished, and preparing some documents wasn't a big deal. All right, I'll take care of it, I said readily, never imagining that during the project meeting, it would be revealed that the materials I had prepared contained significant errors. The manager, Mr. Miles, spoke up. Kyle, what is the meaning of this? These figures are completely wrong. What? That can't be. Standing at the back, Hayden folded his arms, a sly smile playing on his lips. Wow, even Kyle makes mistakes. This is a big deal, though, he said. His words seemed concerned, but the amusement in his eyes made it painfully clear he had set me up. As I stood there, stunned by the situation, I could hear Mr. Miles' exasperated sigh. This will delay the entire project. Someone needs to take responsibility. Although I wasn't fired, that incident marked the beginning of persistent harassment from my colleagues. I wasn't informed of important updates, was intentionally ignored during meetings, and subjected to other subtle forms of mistreatment. Why is this happening to me? I wondered. All I ever wanted was to work hard and get along with everyone. From that moment, I decided to hide my abilities and make an effort to stay unnoticed. When I shared this with Mary, her eyes welled up with tears. You've been through so much, and yet you became my secretary and helped me like this. I don't even know how to thank you. Seeing her tears, I couldn't help but speak my mind. That's because I like you, Mary. Mary responded to my sudden confession with a surprised "oh," her face quickly turning bright red. I'm sorry if this feels sudden, I continued, but when Bella wouldn't walk, and you helped me, I thought you were such a kind person for smiling at someone like me. And even after finding out you're Mr. Kennedy's daughter and the company's next CEO, you never changed. At work, I was the type of guy who blended into the background, barely noticed. Yet every time we met, Mary would always make the effort to greet me. Even after becoming her secretary, her presence in my life had grown immensely important. Today was no different. Seeing Miss Morgan mock Mary and deliberately put her in a tough spot made my anger boil over. As your secretary, I know saying something like this might put you in a difficult position, and I'm sorry. But I'd like to be with you. Even if you turn me down, I'll still do my job properly, and I won't let it affect my behavior or— Before I could finish, Mary interrupted me. I won't say no. Absolutely not. Her voice was so loud, it drew the attention of those around us. We both bowed repeatedly, apologizing for the disturbance. Does that mean? I asked cautiously. Mary, her face still bright red, nodded. I like you too, Kyle. Mary's radiant smile was the brightest I had ever seen. From that moment, we became partners in both our personal and professional lives. Our relationship flourished, and a year after we started dating, we got married. We decided to celebrate our union with a wedding ceremony. Oh no, what am I going to do? I'm so nervous, I muttered, pacing back and forth in the groom's waiting room. Natalie couldn't help but laugh at me. Seriously? Why are you the one freaking out? That's pathetic. The star of the day is Mary, not you. She wasn't wrong, but nerves were nerves, and I couldn't help it. Which was more nerve-wracking, your Harvard entrance exam or this? For a moment, I almost said Harvard, but honestly, nothing compared to the pressure of this wedding. After all, just seeing my father-in-law, Mr. Kennedy, was nerve-wracking enough. Definitely this, I admitted. The wedding. Natalie burst out laughing. Bella, did you hear that? Kyle says he's nervous. What a problem. Halt. Bella, being petted by Natalie, barked energetically in response. Then she came over to me, pressing against me as if to say, get it together. Thanks, Bella. Not just for today, but for everything. Meeting Mary was all because of you. I gave Bella a thorough petting, and she responded enthusiastically, wagging her tail. Today, Bella was set to play a special role, not as a ring bearer, but as our ring dog. Bella, who had been the reason Mary and I first met, held a special place in both our hearts. Even now, whenever work gets overwhelming, Mary often sighs and says, I just want to see Bella. Bella loves Mary just as much. Whenever we visit Natalie's place, she completely ignores me and jumps straight into Mary's arms. Hey Kyle, it's time. Get out there. Is it all ready? All right. I'm nervous, but I'll do my best. That's the spirit. I'll be watching. Natalie gave me a firm pat on the back and sent me off. Bella, too, nudged my leg as if to say, You've got this. I went ahead to the chapel to wait for Mary. I was certain that even greater happiness lay ahead for us. There would undoubtedly be challenges, but I knew that together, Mary and I could handle anything. With that thought in mind, I stood there, waiting for the chapel doors to open. When they finally did, and I saw Mary standing there, I couldn't help but smile.